Hello. Okay, wait. Let me post this. All right. Hello. I am gonna do some environmental art concepts. It's something that I'm not. I don't practice nearly enough, and since I'm working on this fantasy story, I definitely need to start doing more environments. I've done them a little bit since I started the fantasy project, but not nearly enough. So I'm gonna try today. I'm looking at reference on my phone because I realize I only have like two screens, and normally this screen is where I'd have my reference, but I want to be able to see the Twitch, the streaming software and chat and everything that's going on. I'm not really sure where I'm gonna start. I kind of have an idea of what I want to be trying to draw, and I do have a reference photo here, but all right, let's just see how this goes. Just to clarify, like I said, I'm not like super good with environments, but that's why I'm gonna practice today. I just have a hard time like trying to figuring out like how to start. It's so different than doing it's so different than drawing characters. See, like already, okay. I'm trying to draw a forest kind of background. I know you need to kind of like establish foreground and background. Now let's see. So, I lost my reference image. 1 second. Actually, I might try to find a different one. This one's like very. Let's see. Okay. I think I might just try to start by drawing this as much as it is in the photo as possible. Like inventing is really hard. 1 second. Like these are not the colors that I'm gonna end up with. Like obviously not like, you know, super realistic, but actually, 1 second. I'm gonna start over. Hold up. Because I put that all in the same layer. Okay, so we need a layer of just. Okay, I need to start with the background. So let's put in like some sky. Like I want to do a forest. I'm thinking I should do like a forest clearing, because I kind of have a concept. Yeah, I just have a hard time visualizing. Like I said, it's not like what I'm used to. So we'll have that, and then we'll have a layer for like the ground. I had a green, but actually I'm gonna do a brown actually, because that would be more base, right? I mean, you have dirt under like the grass. So now I need to figure out like my composition. So like I said, I kind of want like a forest clearing. So if this isn't like the middle of the woods, there's actually probably very little like sky going on, right? I mean, this is kind of like a, yeah, like I said, I'm very much, now see, this is why I set up, this is why I redid my layer, because now I can just, I don't know why, so I literally just found out that my brush, and this is a problem I've been having for a while, that for some reason my brush has spacing in it. I don't know why the hell it has spacing in it. How do you change that for the eraser? Because the eraser brush is messed up too. See, I found out that apparently there's spacing in there. Why the hell do I have spacing by default? Because I was ending with all these ridges. And I've been having that problem with Photoshop for like a long freaking time. This is an older version of Photoshop, because it's the one that I own. And I absolutely never want to do this stupid subscription service that they've changed it to. Like, if I buy Photoshop, I'm using Photoshop forever. Don't tell me I have to like buy it every month. Absolute fucking bullshit. Like, I get that they do updates and everything, but so like that is the one thing I'm missing out on, is I'm not getting like updates when they do them. But that's fine. I mean, this does like everything that I really need it to do. I don't really need anything super advanced. I did recently get Clip Studio, like within the last like year or two, and I've used it like a couple times, and it's cool. I mean, the thing I like about that is that they have like brush libraries and stuff. Okay, so I'm just, I mean, the colors don't matter that much right now, because I guess I'm just setting up like composition and whatnot. I'm just getting like the base shapes in, right? I mean, that is kind of how I learned that people do like backgrounds, is they just start with like some base shapes for composition. Because like my problem is that I get very like overwhelmed with like detail very early on. And I mean, the one problem I do still have is when I start with the base shapes, I have a hard time like refining it into detail. So yeah, I mean, like obviously this does not look good right now, but like I said, it's, I mean, I'm sure it looks very like kindergarten-y, but damn it, I didn't do that on a separate layer. You know, I'm just gonna restart that, because I meant to do that on another layer and I did not. Plus it was not quite right anyway. Okay. Yeah, I think part of the reasons that it's hard for me is I'm used to starting with line, but I just know that like at least in digital painting for doing backgrounds, it's not the best way to do it, right? So, all right, gonna do a new layer. Oh, I lost the color I had. I liked that color, but... Alright, somewhere around here. Actually, I'm gonna do something weird first. Which it doesn't matter, because it's its own layer. So, like, I kind of want to have this part be like the clearing. Actually, that might be better anyway than starting with the trees. Is getting this like clearing area in here. Like, I'm sure this is a place where, like, this is a time where it'd be good to have some different brushes. Like, maybe I should have gone into Clip Studio for this. Because, like probably one of my problems is that I'm just using, like, a basic round brush. So, like, it looks very flat. But whatever. Right now I'm just trying to get comfortable with, like, basics. Like, I don't really have much expectations for this piece right now because a lot of it's still just practice. I'm just gonna keep making new layers. Alright, now I have some trees in here. Actually need to be a little bit lighter than that. Yeah, like, I'll probably need to get some better brushes to do backgrounds better. But until then... I think my perspective is not right. Like, I was trying to get a horizon line here with this, but I was imagining this like a lot deeper into the woods. So would you even... I don't even know. Would you even see... See, this shows you how little experience I have doing backgrounds. Like, I'm like, would you even see the sky at all? I mean, I guess if it's just deep into the woods, like, it doesn't mean there's not a horizon line. It's just incredibly obscured by trees. So yeah, as I said, excuse it if it looks like, right now it looks like a kindergartner's drawing, but I know you have to establish basic shapes first. Like, I don't think any of these layers will be in the final anyway. Actually, I'm gonna leave like a little bit of a path in here. Oh, see, I should have made my brush smaller. Let me make my brush smaller. Yeah, it's just so different from what I'm used to. Okay, I am actually gonna bring this line up a bit more. I'm gonna have it just be like the very, very tip top of the piece. The other thing I'm trying to figure out is like what even to do conceptually, because oh, also I'm not even drawing from my reference right now. I was just trying to figure out. Alright, whatever. I mean, these would actually be different colors if they're different brightnesses or lightnesses if they're different points of depth, but like actually if the sky is over, I mean, this is probably, the light is probably coming from the back, right? So you'd think that the trees toward the back would be a little bit lighter. I think we're just gonna say this is like just like very abstract right now. And have to like refine in those details as I go. Alright, I do need some grass. Yeah, I think I would probably benefit from. Okay, here, let me put that layer behind here. I would benefit for some. I would definitely benefit from some different brushes. I mean, I'm probably doing like this, like a complete fucking amateur. I mean, pretty much drawing environments, like the only thing I really have is like basic artistic concepts of like light and composition and stuff like that. I have basically no experience. Not really no experience, but yeah, I do not draw environments. Like at a major disadvantage. Like, as I've said on my other streams, although I guess, you know, my last stream audio didn't get recorded, but I'm mainly figure drawing. Like that's what I went to school for. I got a bachelor in fine arts in drawing, and then specializing in figure drawing. So I draw people, but I've highly neglected drawing backgrounds. Also, I know you have to start with broader shapes, but I'm kind of already just doing like grass. Is that kind of like a detail? Okay, we're gonna try to add some shadow. Yeah, like this would definitely be better if I had a better brush for it. It's really not ideal doing everything with just like a flat round brush. I'm sure my art would improve a lot if I did more, if I used more brushes. Probably like limiting myself a lot. Like even with my like character drawing, honestly, right? Yeah. As I said, this is very, very, very basic. I guess basically just imagine that you're just watching somebody drawing for the first time. I mean, as I said, I have like understanding of like composition and light and form. That's about it. Color, I guess. But even my color work is not that great. See, honestly, I get to a point where I don't even know how to progress it further. Like, I can tell the point it's at, and I can tell how far I have to go, of course, before it's like at a complex level, but I don't know how to, like, how do you handle the in-between? Like, how do I get from here to there? I guess one thing we can do is we can add like rocks or logs or something. I'm just trying to think what else would be in a scene like this, right? Rocks. Also, like I said, light, and it's still way too bright inside of here. Yeah, this is definitely a major challenge for me. I'm not an environmental artist, as you can tell. Yeah, like it's way too bright. What if can I just do an adjustments or something, or is that a cheap way of doing it? Oh, I forgot I'm on the wrong layer. Oh yeah, that's the only problem with adjustments is you can only do it on a certain. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do. Here, I'm gonna take this one. And I'm gonna darken that significantly. Same with this one. Like that already looks way better. Right? And then we're gonna take a brighter and do it in from like the back, right? Because as I said, like our light source is coming from like back here, right? I mean, this is like the depths of the forest. The sun and the sky is way back here. I don't know. Gotta start somewhere. Now, which one am I? Okay, this is my rocks layer. Like, I kind of want this to be, I've got this race called the Rhizarks, and they've kind of like cut themselves off from magic, and they hate magic, and they've got like monks. Like everyone has some level of it, but the monks have like dedicated their lives to like meditation and focus, and like pushing magic away. And like I said this a little bit in my first stream, I think it was my first stream, that they inadvertently are still kind of using the effects of magic by pushing magic away from them. I mean, in one sense, you know, they have like, I guess they would have like magic resistance. But in the other sense, I mean, basically magic is ambient, magic is kind of everywhere. So by pushing it away from themselves, like it kind of ends up building up, like outside, like on the outside of their body, almost like make a shell, right? Like if they punch someone and they punch someone really hard, or they punch someone, right? I think there's actually still like a magical impact, because I mean, as I said, like I guess if you're pushing magic away from your body and it's all ambient, it's everywhere. Like imagine you jump into the ocean, even if you could like push the water away from yourself, it's still gonna kind of, maybe that's a bad example. It's a hard concept to explain, but anyway, my point is they're monks, and I was kind of like when I started this one, I'm kind of envisioning. I mean, their kingdom isn't like the kingdom of the Rhizarks is in the forest. It's like, I think it's like an island, technically, albeit a very large one. but it's covered in thick excuse me, thick forest. And I'm imagining that like the monks would meditate like deep in like a forest clearing. Specifically a clearing because they could have like a log to sit on or something, I don't know. Okay, I mean this is starting to take shape a little bit better anyway. At least I'm getting some depth of field. Like, none of the shapes are complicated at this point, but there's at least some depth. Now I want there to kind of be like lines or variation in the sand, or this is not sand, I guess dirt, sand, whatever you want to call it. And one thing I can do, which will also give it further depth while also doing what I want, is have like lighter parts, right? It's kind of like doing light closer to the oh, I need to make a new layer for this, or put it on this, just put it on this layer. Honestly, some better brushes would definitely benefit me. Actually, I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger. Oh, I came a little too far that way. Alright, need a little bit more of a transition here. Alright, now this part I'm gonna actually switch to doing like lines, I think. Because I want to draw this like log or tree stump. Hello. I'm doing environment art. I'm not used to it at all. I normally draw characters. So I'm trying to practice. How are you doing? Yeah, as you can tell, it's not my area of expertise. Like right now, I'm just using, like I'm not even using reference. Like I was using reference, and then I realized like that I'm kind of just trying to do some basics of like, you know, first you kind of set down the basic colors, basic shapes. You know, you get like the background, and then you get like the foreground, and then you get like the middle ground. You know, you establish like shapes, basic shapes. You start adding depth with like light and shadow. Like those things I know how to do, and like composition. Even if I don't really know how to do backgrounds. I can only apply like what I know from like being an artist in general. I'm kind of imagining like a clearing in a forest. It's hard because I was trying to do some like concepts from my fantasy story. This would relate to like a race called the Rhizarks, who have monks who would meditate in the forest. But it's hard because my environmental drawing isn't really advanced enough that I feel like I can do much in the way of conceptualizing. Like I just gotta practice. I just gotta practice environments. And this is like completely different from what you do or what I do when I'm designing a character. I mean, I didn't even start out using like line work at all. Because I remember when I did look into like how do people actually approach doing environments. It's all about like establishing shape, like foreground, background, like just starting with the most basic elements. It's hard to do much with line early on. But then I'm drawing something in the foreground, a log, so that can be drawn. And now I'm coloring that in. Like, yeah, as I said earlier, just excuse my like kindergartner level drawing, because I really only draw characters and people. Like even when I was working on my comic, the backgrounds were so minimal. This is definitely one of the things that I got criticized for. It's not even like it's not fun to do backgrounds, it's just that I like never do it. I'm so focused on like just drawing people and characters. Like even another thing that I need to practice more, especially now that I'm going to be doing like, or now that I'm working on this like fantasy story, is like drawing creatures and animals. It's also something that I find really fun, but I have not done in like a long time, which I guess comes from like mostly working on a superhero comic for a long time that doesn't have much in the way of that. But this is just a chill stream. I don't really have any expectations. I just gotta practice while having like a vague notion in my head about what this is supposed to be. Like, I mean, I keep like criticizing myself and saying like kindergartner level. It's really not true. I mean, obviously the some basic artistic principles are in use. I'm just not used to drawing backgrounds. I think maybe I'll start another one at some point. I mean, like a completely new piece, and I will actually just like use some reference. Because that's probably like the best thing to do if I want to practice. But I think this is important too. Because like inventing is always at least part of the process. Especially if you're doing like a fantasy thing. I mean, there's nothing really fantasy about it at this point. But anyway. One of the things I have the most trouble with, I think, I'm going to save this real quick. Now, where did I have, I guess I'll make a new folder. Either that or, no, that's fine, environments. Just for now. I can organize it a little bit better later. Oops. Yeah, I know it's not showing anything that I'm doing right now because I have it capturing the Photoshop window, but it's not showing anything else. Rise arc, forest, clearing, I don't know. So what I was saying was one of the things that I have the most trouble with environments is like, I know you start with just very basic, you start with composition, you start with shape and color and light, but then I have trouble, like, how do I go from this point to further complexity? And it probably just comes from a lack of practice of drawing environments. It's like, but just like how to fill that space, how to fill that detail. I think I might, because I think this is probably not going to be, like, I'm probably going to redo some of these layers anyway, now that I've established some shape and composition. But I think I'm going to, actually I am going to add some lines now. Just to like further define. Oh, you know what? This should have, like, that's not what trees look like. Like, I realized I was initially just putting in some shapes, but I could definitely make these trees look more tree-like. Yeah, so now that I have a solid base, I can do some line work. And then I can always redo the color. I mean, I have seen, like, most of the environment art that I've watched is like people just do, I don't think they do like line at all. Like, they're just so good that they just do everything with shape and color. But I need something to help me like further define what I'm working on, or I'll be completely lost. Okay, I mean, I feel like this is coming together much better now. Okay, let's this looks like crap. That's it. There are people screaming outside. Yeah, last night when I was streaming, there were like kids like screaming, like literally screeching outside. It was like 10 o'clock, and there were like kids screeching in the hallways. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's just, I think it's partly a stylistic thing. And what I'm used to. Like, I need line. I mean, I know they always say, like, oh, line doesn't exist. And I know I've seen people who try to do art without line and only using basically color and shadow. But that shit's hard. Okay, I mean, I'm getting a little bit lazy with my lines here, but okay. Yeah, this is not, it's not terrible. It's definitely not quite what I had in my head. But I think I need more green. Like, these trees are completely bare. And like, I was still imagining like a lush forest, not a... See, I also realized I don't have branches. Like, where do you put the leaves? Let's see, I've drawn my lines already. Whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, this is not gonna work. Honestly, I might just start over. This at least gave me a better idea Okay, I'm gonna try to draw some from reference. I also might do a different prompt, if you will. Instead of the forest, I could do I'm trying to find a reference image. The thing is, I'm using my phone because on my left monitor is where I have Streamlabs. It's just kind of hard drawing from the phone. Laggy. Oh wait, I need a new layer. I was saying that I probably need some different brushes because I'm doing everything with like basically a round brush, which I don't think is ideal for doing environments, probably. These are not necessarily the colors that I'm going to use. I'm just establishing shape. And some shadow. Kind of. Shadow shapes anyway. get this all filled in first. And like I said, I am looking at a reference here, albeit following it very loosely. Yeah, I'm following it very, very loosely. Very loosely. Especially because it's hard to see the like details very well on my phone. Oh, this is a cool thing going on. It's like the snow almost like, yeah, see, I can't do that with this kind of brush. I was like, the snow is like almost like blowing off the mountaintop. I mean, I could do like a lower opacity or something. Oh yeah, the lower opacity definitely helps, especially in getting like this, these like layers of snow cover. It's literally building up like layers of white. Alright, and go back up with the opacity. Because I'm going to block in a large amount. Actually, I realized I think the snow would actually not be on that side, right? Because it's like, in the image I'm using, it's kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do, put some shadow in here. Alright, I mean there is still snow on that side, but it's significantly in shadow. Okay, no, darker even than that. Okay, I'll tell you this, I'm definitely feeling more confident starting doing this one than I was the other one that I did in the forest. I mean, one of the reasons for that is mountains have these just very nice, like, well-defined shapes. And, like, literally clear planes, clear-cut planes. Like, that is a clear-cut plane of shadow. There's a clear-cut plane of shadow over here. And it has, like, it's like the snow, but it has, like, a bluish hue, so I'm gonna do that. It's like a blue shadowed, where exactly is that blue? It's almost, no, see, that doesn't look quite right. Well, maybe it's because I don't have the, I think it needs to be a lot more gray, actually. It's a very gray blue. Also, I mean, technically this whole section is like snow in the image I'm looking at. With just like glimpses of like the brown part of the mountain showing through. So I might just do that and then just come back in with the brown. But see, even I was saying that this is like clear cut shadow. It's right now it's a little too hard edged, so it still looks, it looked kind of like a pyramid instead of a mountain. So I just need to you know, it's not super clear. It's like there's more of a ridge. Also, I'm realizing I should have done this on different layers. I'm doing this all on the same layer, which is like a giant mistake. Even though I've been doing like digital art for like forever, I'm not the best at actually using layers when I should be using layers. Yeah, something in this part is not quite right. But it's hard because I'm not perfectly following the reference. So I'm trying to take cue from the reference without, yeah, it's kind of difficult. Okay, also, now I am going to do a different layer. I've got clouds in here. Clouds is definitely something I should have a brush for. Doing clouds with a round brush is really stupid. A hard round brush is really stupid. Well, okay, one thing I can do is I can make it a softer brush, at least. Brush, hardness, maybe like 70%. That's still a little too hard. Okay. Also, yeah, I think mountains are the easiest. I mean, of like environmental things, mountains are the easiest to get with just like shape and color and light. I don't know why this brush just seems still very hard brush. There we go. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have lowered the opacity. Alright, I lowered the hardness, I didn't lower the opacity. We're gonna redo that. Yeah, that's what I needed. I needed opacity lowered. But yeah, this cloud is almost like part of this mountain. Like in the photo I'm using, it's very much like one. Oh, I just realized the reference I'm using is actually a painting. It's not a photo, it's a painting. It's a very good a very good painting, but it's a painting. Like, as a general rule, you really shouldn't be using art as a reference to do art. Because, like, even if it's really perfect, you're just going to keep getting further and further away from what is correct. But anyway. I want more of this blue. The part that I did was like the largest part of that was blue, but that was that blue-gray, but actually, in this case, though, I actually would say using a painting for reference is actually helpful here, because it gives me a better idea of like the kind of strokes I should be using, if that makes sense. Whereas the painting, I'd have to kind of like interpret that myself, which is the part that I'm not very good at the moment. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with this, but I haven't really done anything to make it, you know, like a fantasy concept. I was thinking of the Kelmig who live in like the mountains, but see, I should probably put like a little town in here or something, right? That way I can actually kind of like get somewhere with this conceptually. I don't know. I haven't really decided what their buildings look like. Oh, this is still low opacity. Oh, and I'm still at the soft brush, which is not what I want. I kind of want like a temple, or I guess this would be more like a. Oh, I should have made that a separate layer. I don't know. Honestly. It doesn't look a whole lot like buildings. It's also kind of like lopsided. This is why I should have done it on a separate layer, because now I can't really fix it very well. Oh, I need to save this one too. Okay, I'm gonna start a new one. Oh wow, it's 5 o'clock already. It's after 5 o'clock already. I actually think I'm gonna call it finished for this art stream. I'm gonna be doing Guild Wars probably in like a little bit. So thank you for joining. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed.